Welcome to another episode of Out of the Pods. I'm Deepti.
And I'm Natalie, and we are so giddily today.
We really are.
We spoke for 2 hours before we pressed record because Deepti just returned from Greece last night, and I have not seen her. So we've just been chatting it up and catching it up, and I was like, what are we doing? We have to record an episode.
I know. And I'm sure we'll talk for 2.5 hours after.
Oh, 100%.
So, that's going to be us. But no, I'm excited to be back. I literally am so jet lagged. But here we are.
Can I just tell you?
Tell me.
So many people have DM'd me about how amazing your trip looked like.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
I love, why aren't they DMing me? No, I'm just kidding. They did.
I have no idea.
No, pod besties, you guys are so amazing. Thank you for all the love.
It looked amazing. You had a little scarf on your head. I was like, wow, she is a little fashionista.
The first day that I was in Athens, I was like, I want to buy the scarf. I saw it.
You bought it there.
I bought it there. It has little domes on it. It's so cute. And I made it my entire personality for the entire fucking trip.
No, it's so crazy because the only time I ever see you in clothes, well, that's
what?
Kind of weird to
that
say.
Was really weird to say. Excuse me, what? Back it up.
Let me restart that sentence. Every time I see you,
You guys, it's been a while. Forgive us.
We haven't really talked in a while. Yeah, so I'm just getting my lips started here, just a little moistening them up.
That is the worst word you can ever use around
Yeah, that
moist.
was, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I apologize. But I was saying every time that I see you, we're just in sweats. Like we kind of look like shit, which I love. Like I love looking like shit with you.
So true.
Like we always look like we kind of like rolled out of bed.
Yeah, no, 100%.
But when I looked at all the photos you posted from your Greece trip, I was like, who is she?
Yeah, you're like, I don't even know you. Are you Deepti?
I was like, did you just have a transformation?
Honestly, that was me too, because I haven't posted in literally, okay, so I posted last week, I think twice. On Instagram, like twice on Instagram and within a week. And my recent post before that was like May. I'm like, we're in July.
You're like, I'm back.
And no, I remember looking at pictures. I'm like, maybe I should, dress up more often.
No, you looked so cute.
Thank
the
you.
headscarf, I would have never.
Thank you.
That would never occur to me to put like a scarf on my head. And I never thought it would occur to you either.
Yeah,
it
who
did.
knew? Also, it's so crazy. Everyone has been asking me about where I got all the fits from. And I literally bought them all, most of them on Amazon, some of them on like Revolve. But like, honestly, the dresses that I love the most, I got from Amazon.
Oh, so, I don't sleep on Amazon. I love Amazon.
Me too. And I am honestly,
I love Walmart too.
Pod besties, I am so sorry, but I am probably the worst influencer ever because I got so many DMs being like, can you please link it? Can you please link it? And I'm like, I don't want to link it. But I sent some pod besties just like, messages. I'm like, here's the link. But I should really become a better influencer.
Yeah, like really link it. Because I don't love gatekeeping. We're not gatekeepers
No,
here.
not at all. But I did message people. I'm like, Amazon. But yeah, everything in Greece was like all white aesthetic. So it was super easy to like get clothes for it. I just wore white everywhere I went.
I love it.
It was so much fun. I think the best part of the trip was probably for my mom's 60th birthday, I booked a private catamaran.
I saw that.
Cruise.
Crazy.
It was so incredible. We had the best crew on the boat. And I like jumped off the boat into the Mediterranean Sea. There was like, we just saw so many places. It was absolutely breathtaking. And my mom and dad snorkeled with me.
Oh my goodness.
And they're 60 plus. And I was like, this is the most incredible experience of my life. That's what I realized going on this trip. I was like, holy crap, like, it was just so cute to see my parents experiencing life with me for the first time, And I was like, I want to do something special for them. It was so fun. It was so much fun.
When I plan trips with my parents, I feel like I go more all out than trips by myself or with a partner or with friends because I'm like, oh my goodness, like I want to experience everything with my parents. So I totally get what you are feeling and how you felt in that moment.
But isn't it crazy? Because I know this is the same way for you. Like as having immigrant parents, they're like, don't spend that money. Don't do this. Don't. I'm like, stop fighting me on it. Just experience the thing that I booked for us and do not ask me how much it was. Just have fun. And they're like, are you sure you want to pay for this? I'm like, yes. Yes, I am.
Yeah. My parents fight me on money or like paying for something all the time. Like I'd be like, let me just take you out to dinner. And then they're like, okay. And we're at dinner and my dad's like trying to put his card down. I was like, I just told you I'm paying for this dinner.
Yes.
Like, why are you like this? Just let me do something nice for you guys.
Exactly.
But I love trips with parents and with my family. I just feel like it's really great that we're able to experience things with the like people we really, really love.
Yeah, absolutely. What's funny about Greece though is like when we went to Santorini, everything was like very romantic and coupley. And sometimes I'd be like, I wish I was here with a significant other. But then I looked back on it and I'm like, I had the best time with my parents ever.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. But no, Santorini is definitely like a honeymoon spot because when we were booking hotels, everything was like two-person rooms. I'm like, where the hell am I going to find a 4-person bedroom? No hotel room would have double beds. It was insane. And also when you travel with your family, do you guys fight a lot? Because my family fights all the time. It's so normal now.
Yeah. If you're not fighting with your family on a family vacation, then
are you even family?
Yeah. Are you even related to one another?
I'd be like, this is so stressful. I told my parents after I left them for this trip, I was like, I'll see you in like 6 to 8 business days. Like, don't even try to call me. Don't talk to me. I'll see you.
Oh, 100%. I fight the most with my sister and then I complain as well. And that starts a fight.
Oh, dude, the amount of times me and my sister fought, I'm like, but then on the next breath, we're like, okay, I love you. You want to like go get an Aperol spritz?
Like 2 hours later, it's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember when I went to Vietnam with my parents, we went to Hanoi a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
I fought with my mom because I really had to poop, but she was like hurrying me up because we had to
gotta go.
We were doing a tour.
Uh-huh.
And I was so mad at her because she wouldn't let me poop. And I was like,
hate that.
I was like, why did you rush me? Now I'm going to have a stomach ache the entire tour. How dare you? I was so upset. And I was like, what is wrong with me? Like,
wait.
Why did I complain about this?
I totally forgot. Okay. This just reminded me. Oh my gosh. In the Greek islands, you cannot use toilet paper. You can, I mean, wait, let me take that back. You can use toilet paper, but you cannot flush it down the toilet. You have to like throw it in the trash bin. And we were dying. We're like, this is so funny, but I immediately thought of you. I was like, I need to tell Natalie that just in case she goes to the Greek islands because maybe she shouldn't. And they don't even have like a bidet or anything. It's like you throw that thing in the trash can. Yeah, that was an experience for sure. I
don't know if I could do that.
I don't know either, honestly. But I was joking with my family. I was like, damn, it's become such a habit now. Like when I go back to America, am I going to continue doing it accidentally? I'm not. But that was a luxury I really missed.
I feel like there was a country where I couldn't flush toilet paper either. And it was just really, really tough for me because I go through so much toilet paper because I use the bathroom so often. And like, look, I don't mind throwing away toilet paper. I feel like it's probably for the best, especially if like it's an older country and like, you know, they have an older plumbing system. It is what it is.
Yes.
But I think for me, it's like, oh my God, I'd have to take out the trash so often.
No, exactly. So
I just couldn't do it.
The first place that we stayed at was kind of like a home. So that one, they would come like at the end of every day. But then in Mykonos, we stayed at like a really beautiful resort type hotel thing. And they would come like 2 times a day. And I'm like, thank the Lord. I love you, civilization. Like, but that was like a really wild experience. I was like, I have to tell Natalie immediately.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I couldn't do the end of the day.
No.
Or I would need like a really, really large trash bag.
Yeah. And get one with a lid that closes.
And I could not share a bathroom with anyone else.
That's why it's so nice to travel with family. It's like no one gives a shit.
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
Literally shit. No one gives a shit.
I could stink up the bathroom, and my sister, what is she gonna do? Complain?
I'd be like, well, yeah. They're probably like,
I'll be like, what are you gonna do? Ask for your own room now, bitch?
Exactly. I'm like, sucks to suck. And it's so funny because we posted the farting video on TikTok, the reel.
Yeah,
and
from our last episode.
Yes, and I was showing my parents it, and they're like, Deeps, do you really care about farting? Because you have literally farted so much on this trip. It's insane. One time I was like laying in the other room because it's like a 2-bedroom type thing, and I just let one rip. And my mom,
it's the best.
They all just started laughing in the other room. I was like, what? what? They're like, dude, that was insane that you just farted like that.
Oh,
I was like, okay.
I mean, look, if we're going to talk about traveling with family, you could do anything.
I know. It's
You
great.
could look like shit. You could take a shit. You could
give no shits.
You could complain, vent, fight with your family, and like they don't care. Like imagine if you did that on like a friend's trip.
Oh yeah,
you know,
a friend's trip is so different. You're like so, thoughtful and like considerate of like what they want to do.
Yeah.
Whereas a family, we give 0 Fs, and that's why we fought so much, because like one person wants to do this, the other wants to do this, and we're just always, there's just such strong personalities.
Yeah, and when you're tired on a little hike, you could be like, I'm leaving all of you. And you can't do that with girlfriends necessarily without looking like a fucking bitch, and they're all going to talk shit behind your back after that trip.
Exactly. I've been thinking about doing like a little TikTok series about the trip to like show people like what to do and what not to do in Greece. But one of the things, I have to tell you the funniest story ever, you're gonna die. One of the things you have to do from jumping island to island is going on ferries. And the ferry is just like a giant taxi essentially. Obviously you know what ferries are, but it was insanely busy. But the ferry that we took from Mykonos back to Athens, so there's like a waiting period. So we're waiting for the ferry to get there. And as we walk up, there's like an Indian family next to us. And it was so funny because they know Telugu, which is my mother tongue. So we always speak in Telugu when we're around other people. So no one knows what we're saying.
Oh, same with our family. Always Korean.
My mom is like, she says, oh, bayanta bonaro, which basically means, oh my God, that guy looks so good. And he's this Indian guy. And she's like, trying to set me up like at the ferry port.
Ooh.
I was like, mother, I didn't tell her this, but I thought he was cute too. But I was like, mom, no way. Like, stop. Like, you're so embarrassing. And I was like, they're Telugu. Like, they just fucking heard you say that. I was like, that's so embarrassing. So we're just like, whatever. I see him throughout the ferry, right? It's whatever. And I was
she's like, it's whatever.
You know, when you like,
it's not a big deal.
You know, when you see someone who's like cute, you're both like glancing at each other constantly. You're
but
like,
you're acting like,
yeah, you're just like, oh, I'm just like doing cute things like with my parents. I'm like, listen to my music.
I don't see you looking at me.
Yeah, exactly. You're just being like a flirty pop. Anyways, nothing comes of it, right? So we go to Athens, and my sister is like craving lemon sorbet. It's so phenomenal there. So we go to 3 different ice cream places. They don't have it. The 4th one that we go to, or maybe it was the 3rd, whatever, we go to like multiple. And as I'm walking into the ice cream store, that same Indian man is walking out of the ice cream store. Isn't that insane? And tell me why my mother just quickly whips in. She's like starting to run after him, because all throughout the ferry ride, we were joking about how mom needs to be wing woman. And like, she's like, if you should use the QR code or give him my card or like
QR code.
Oh, we'll get into that. But it was so funny. And I was like, mom, like you have to be my wing woman if you want me to get married. Duh, like go after him. And I was kidding. And this woman actually tries to go after him. I literally pulled her by the collar. People are looking at me and they're like, what the hell are you doing? I was like, oh, sorry, I'm not assaulting her. This is just my mom.
Wait, so did she go up to him?
No, obviously not. I would never allow that.
Deepti.
So then what I said is, mom, if we see him for a 3rd time here in Athens, it's a sign. That is my soulmate.
What do you mean? Seeing him twice already is a sign.
No, I know. That was crazy.
You know, God or the universe is like, what a fucking dumbass.
Yeah.
They're like, this bitch. Look, we tried. She keeps complaining about not being married, and we sent her a sign. We actually sent her a 2nd sign, and yet she's still...
Well, you know when you're like in shock when somebody walks by, you have no time to react, because he literally
your
had
mom did
his cute little ice cream cone walking out.
Your mom was about to react.
I know, but that's so embarrassing. Could you imagine if your mom went up to somebody and that's how you got your...
So did you see him a 3rd time?
No, I didn't see him a 3rd time.
Yeah, probably because God or the universe is like, fuck this.
Well,
too tired. I was like, 2 was enough.
I told God and the universe, if this man is meant for me, let me see him a 3rd time. And clearly that didn't happen.
Okay, look. 2 was enough. They were like, we manipulated the situation
too much.
Too many times, okay?
Sorry, you missed your chance. You're going to be single and lonely forever now.
Is that so funny when it happens?
Yeah.
I also have that too. It'd be like, if it happens a 3rd time, it was meant to be. But I was like, why wasn't twice enough?
Exactly.
Like, wasn't that 2nd time your 2nd chance?
Probably, and I probably missed out. He was cute, but he did look a little young for me.
He'll find a way. I think he's a pot bestie. I think he's actually listening right now.
He's probably like, I have no idea who this girl is. No, literally, no, there's no way he knew who I was.
Like he didn't recognize you
No,
from this.
absolutely not.
No, I doubt it too. But maybe like a higher power is like, we're gonna make this happen again.
Maybe. Okay, but back to the QR code though. There is this app that you can, when you're out at the bars, there's a QR code where you can put in like your info. Like you don't have to put in too many details.
Oh, you showed me
I've showed you this, right?
Yes.
And so if you see a person that you like, your friend or somebody, or you, if you're ballsy, can go up to them and be like, just scan this real quick.
And it has all your info, right?
Yeah. Mine says Bad Bitch LLC.
I'm sorry, but what? I actually hate that for you.
Me and my friends were trying
bad
to be
bitch
creative.
LLC.
Modern day bad bitch. But no, anyways.
Bad bitch LLC.
All my friends were being creative with their names, so I had to too. Listen, after this episode, we're gonna create you a QR code too.
What do you think?
Because we're gonna go out tonight.
Is gonna be?
Yours should probably be the Bad Bitch LLC.
I'd be like Mean Girl LLC.
You're not a mean girl. Sarcastic tone LLC.
Very pessimistic.
No, let's get creative and we'll post it on our Instagram stories. It'll be fun. I'll come up with something more creative than Bad Bitch LLC.
Yeah.
It was just in the moment I made it, but
I wasn't expecting the Bad Bitch LLC.
That's so mean. I'm actually really cool.
No, I think you're really cool, but I don't think you're bad or a bitch.
Yeah, did you see my scarf? No, you're right. I'm not a bad or a bitch. So you're totally right about that. I didn't take Osea's Ondaria algae body oil with me to Greece, and I should have. But now that I'm back home, I've been using it, and the smell took me right back to vacation. There's notes of mango, mandarin, grapefruit, lime, and cypress. It just smells like summer in a bottle. It smells so amazing and just leaves my skin so silky and soft.
I totally agree with the smell. It's so heavenly. It truly takes me back to the beach. I've been using their body oil very religiously, and I am telling you, it visibly firms my skin to make me feel more toned and sculpted. I also love that it is vegan and cruelty-free and clean, so I know it's going to be good for my skin, and I don't have to compromise my values.
You too can get healthy, glowing skin for the summer with clean vegan skin and body care from Osea. Get 10% off your first order site-wide with code OUTOFTHEPODS at OseaMalibu.com.
You'll get free samples with every order and free shipping on orders over $60. Head to OSEAMalibu.com and use code OUTOFTHEPODS for 10% off.
Well, anyways, if this cute Indian boy is listening to me on the podcast and you were wearing a green shirt with glasses,
we'll find him.
Please reach out to me.
Indian man with green shirt and glasses. We'll get you. We'll find you.
You're traveling with your two friends.
Oh
yeah. What's funny is that dude didn't even belong to the Indian family. I thought he did because they were all standing together. And then when I saw them separate, I was like, oh, Mom, that's not even part of the group. I was like, oh.
Well.
Yeah, so this story has some layers, but that was crazy though. The fact that, what are the chances that I ran into him twice? That's crazy.
No, I'm telling you, it wasn't a chance. It was a higher power pushing fate on you, and you were like, bye.
Yeah.
You're like, no thanks. And you know what? The third chance was your mom running after him, and you stopped that too. It's just we're like.
The way she moved so fast to try to get to him, I was dying. She's like, oh my God, it's a sign. That was crazy. Oh. You're right. I kind of missed my shot there. But honestly, that you guys, pod besties, that's the reason why you should be assertive and like have the confidence. I literally was like, there's no way I'm doing that. It just felt really embarrassing to me. But yeah, it was a really good trip. I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to not be using converters anymore because you can't, plug things in Europe.
Yeah.
I'm like, thank goodness we're back to reality.
I'm glad you're back too. I feel like I tried not to contact you as much on this trip. We didn't talk on the phone.
We didn't at all. That's crazy.
And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna let her have her time, relax, have her miss me, have some distance between us.
Yep, the distance did make the heart go fonder.
But I was very sad when you were gone.
Oh,
you know when you're just like, what do I do with my life?
Yeah, like I did miss our phone calls. That was I was like, I was going to give you your space too so that you really missed me.
I would sleep with like looking at the phone and be like, I wonder if she's going to call me today.
Did you have my picture up as your screensaver?
Yeah, I was like,
That would be so
every time I get like a text notification, I like come running and I was like, was it Deep to you?
That's really sweet. You are my boyfriend. I don't need the Indian man.
Anyway,
so good.
Well, I'm glad you're back and I'm glad you had fun. Happy 60th birthday to your mom. It looks like she had an amazing time. And don't ever leave me for that long again.
We will never. Now we need another vacation together.
Anyways, I received this DM that I thought was really interesting about prenups on Love is Blind.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about this.
Yes, I actually saw a TikTok about this, which I thought was so fascinating. But it was basically a podcast with a divorce expert and a divorce lawyer, essentially. And he was asked, what is the craziest clause you've seen in a prenup? And he said, one time I had a client who said basically if they got divorced, he would have to pay his ex-wife an alimony of $75,000 a month, which like what the hell does he do? Because that's absolutely insane. But if his ex-wife gains weight, so for every 10 pounds that she gains, there's a $10,000 cut off of the alimony. So,
like after their divorce, if she gains weight?
Before the divorce. So like, say for example, she gained like 20 pounds during their marriage and then they get a divorce. Instead of $75K, it would be $55K a month because she gained 20 pounds. So for every 10 pounds that she gains, she loses $10K of that money.
If they divorce.
Yeah.
That is so sick. What the fuck?
Like what?
Why would you even add that to your prenup?
Why would she even sign it? She's probably like, I'm never going to lose weight. She's like, will you add 10K more if I lose 10 more pounds?
No, literally.
That's fucked.
Wait, that's like kind of sick.
No, it's kind of psychotic. I was like, I watched it and I was like, oh my God, I need to send Natalie this because what is this?
Because you're essentially using that clause as an incentive to keep your wife at the same weight. Mm-hmm. But that clause doesn't make sense if your thought is like you're going to get divorced at the end. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. It just is like, it's frustrating because first of all, $75K is a lot of money. But to add a clause with weight is like, it just shows you how men think sometimes. And it's just like really
this specific man.
This specific man, not all men. Sorry to all men. This man particularly. But I wonder how many crazy prenup clauses there have been if something like this can exist.
Out of spite, I would just gain 30 pounds because like $45,000 a month is not bad.
No, that's actually a really good salary, I would say. But I don't know. It would be a good incentive to get that $75K to, you know, just keep on going, running.
Honestly, if I were going to play the long game, I would think in my head, like, what a fucking asshole for putting that as a clause in our prenup. I would stay with him and then divorce him so I get that alimony. Exactly
what I was thinking. I would be like, however long they needed to stay married, I'd stay married. And then the next day I'd be like, I'm gonna get that divorce now. And then gain 30 pounds. 75K 100%. Plus 20 pounds.
Oh, that's crazy. Would you ever get a prenup?
Honestly, I've thought about it before. If you would have asked me 2 years ago, or even before the show, I would say absolutely not. Because I think in my head, I'm like, that's kind of bad luck or like bad omen to get a prenup when you're getting married. Like, I feel like marriage is such a like sacred thing that I'm going to be with you forever. Like, I don't really believe in divorce. But if you look at the climate of relationships now, I feel like anything is possible and things change and things happen. So I think I definitely would now. I think it would be stupid not to. Would you?
I would absolutely get a prenup. I think that people don't get into marriages thinking that they're going to get divorced, but people change, things change, you know, and I feel like divorce is sometimes like the healthiest option. Like, I believe in divorce if you are in a very toxic, unhealthy relationship, or that relationship is no longer good for you regardless of the reason. But I heard something that really changed my perspective on prenups, which is why I will always get one. So someone once told me that every marriage has a prenup. You either draft one up on your own or you default to the one that your state or national government sets for you.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So I view prenups less as a worst case scenario if this marriage doesn't work out, but more so you're choosing to customize a prenup that the state has already set for you anyways.
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't you customize that and make sure that it's fair to, you know, yourself and also your partner?
Yeah, that's so true because you're legally getting married to somebody, which means there's a contract there anyways. So if anything does happen in the future, especially if you have kids, it gets so messy, I feel like.
Because there's existing rules for divorce in every state. And when we're talking about this, I mean specifically in the US. I don't know how it's done in other countries, but there are existing rules for divorce. Yeah. So essentially the prenup that you set with your partner, especially at a time where you guys both love each other and like each other, you know, is like you're not following the state's rules then. You know, you're setting your own rules on what's best for the both of you, your situation and everything. So.
Yeah. It's just like such an uncomfortable conversation to have when you're like so madly in love and you're like planning a wedding and like, you know, all you're in like the highs of life and you're like, so just in case something happens, we need to like figure it out. But I guess it's the same thing as like writing up a will. Like you know what I mean? Like,
exactly. Because here's how I view it. Again, I don't think it should be awkward because a prenup is more so, hey, we're just customizing something that our state has set forth for us anyways, like those divorce rules. So let's just customize our own. Like it's a necessary conversation. It doesn't mean we're going to get divorced. Yeah. But we're not going to let the government kind of set forth their rules on if we do. Yeah. So that's how I view it. And what was really interesting is you could actually add clauses for debt too within your prenup. So I saw this on TikTok. There's a lawyer named Lawyer Kelly, and she explains the benefits of prenups. And she had a client who lived in a community property state where everything is 50-50 split. Ooh. And this client's husband got sick with COVID, and after a lengthy hospital stay, he died. And so the wife had some property in her name that the hospital bills weren't able to go after because of their prenup, which had a clause protecting each other from each other's debt. And that's not even in a case of divorce. Yeah. And so like, I don't know, those are benefits of a prenup too.
Yeah. There's definitely a lot of positive aspects to it that you just don't think about. I think I was like coming from an Indian family and the culture of India, divorce is not accepted at all. And I think we are starting to accept it more, especially in like abusive situations, things like that. But you know, it was just never, it was always imprinted in my brain. Like, you do not get a divorce. Like, marriage is sacred. Like, it doesn't matter if you're unhappy. You do not get a divorce unless he's like so manipulative and like abusive. You do not do that. And so I never thought about it like that. But being in America, there's like, it's opened my eyes to so many things. I'm like, there's no chance in hell I'm not getting a prenup now. Like, yeah, which it's weird to say, but hopefully, you know, that green shirt guy that I met knows that we're gonna get a prenup.
You're like, hey, I'm protecting my assets, so
I know you could afford a trip to Greece. So no, just kidding.
I mean, it's so crazy to me that Love is Blind doesn't bring up the topic of prenup. When Shane and I decided to say I do on our wedding day, this is before obviously I changed my mind. Like, we never discussed a prenup, and that never even occurred to me. It's like, gosh. I completely forgot that like that's something that we need a draft.
Yeah. In the whirlwind of love.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, did you and Shake talk about that?
Absolutely not. There was no conversations whatsoever. Like, even when we went to the courthouse to get our marriage license, we never even discussed that topic. That is kind of interesting that they don't bring that up. How many couples do you think got a prenup on Love is Blind that are married?
So Deepti and I went out with our sisters last weekend, and I was wearing the see-through-ish dress that required full coverage in the bum area, if you know what I mean. And obviously, I wore my favorite underwear from MeUndies. They are the best underwear for the summer because they are so lightweight. I don't feel hot or constricted down there at all. And they're also made of this quick-drying, breathable fabric they call Breathe Fabric, which has moisture-wicking and anti-odor technology.
And they have over 10 different styles ranging from high-waisted to cheeky briefs. Their fabric is also so comfortable. It is so soft and you can wear it all day in any weather. Also, if you're not happy with your first pair of undies, it's on MeUndies.
Pod besties, we know summer is here, so get every cut for your butt from MeUndies. Get 20% off your first order plus free shipping at MeUndies.com/outofthepods.
That's MeUndies.com/outofthepods for 20% off plus free shipping. MeUndies, comfort from the outside in.
I only know of one that has signed a prenup after they got married. I don't know how that works, but they put one in place like after they said I do at the altar. And not even Alexa and Brendan. I know that it was a part of their storyline where her dad is, talking about prenups, but they never ended up signing one.
Interesting. Yeah, that is I can't believe I changed my mind on that because
now I'm like, everyone who does Love is Blind and you are engaged and you are making your way to the altar, you better be thinking about a prenup.
100%. Get a lawyer involved too. Like, obviously, that's how you do it. I said get a lawyer involved. As if we're like, I'm going to handwrite my prenup.
Wait. You remember New York Boy?
Oh, yeah.
So
Do I remember him? Of course.
He told me the funniest thing. It wasn't that funny. He told me this story where his friend is going through a divorce and they didn't have a prenup in place. And this friend of his has a lot of family money and a lot of family property. That's how they where their income comes from, their family income. And so the wife is going after that money pretty much. Like she wants a piece of it.
Oof.
And
rightfully so. I'm just kidding.
They never signed a formal prenup. And I don't know if this is actually legit, but I guess when he was drunk, he had her sign one on a bar napkin that says his assets are protected.
Oh my God.
New York Boy was telling me about this. It's literally just a napkin.
I would.
And I was like, will this hold up in court? Is this legit? He doesn't know. They were they're trying to figure out if it would.
Interesting. I wonder, that's a very interesting thought because if you're drunk and you sign something, does it still count?
And you drafted up yourself and it's literally just handwritten.
I think that counts. Handwritten things do count.
But I think it depends on how it's written. On the actual piece of paper.
No, I think napkins count. I don't know. I'm
no, I meant
allegedly
the words. The words. I don't know what it said. I think it was just I won't take your money, and she signed it.
Actually, I don't know. You're right.
But I was like, if someone says I won't take your money, how do you?
Yeah, because does it have to be notarized? Does there have to be somebody to witness it? Otherwise, someone could sign something and you can just above it, just add, you know what I mean? Just add some words to the top, and she said,
if it's not dated, how do you know when it was created?
That's so true.
Anyway, so I was like, okay, but I'm always shocked that there isn't more talk about prenup during the Love is Blind process, privately.
Yeah.
And I definitely feel like there should be.
Yeah.
We know of situations where it got a little bit messy.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. We can't say who, but especially because Love is Blind is such a unique platform, not platform, but a unique way to get married. You really don't know that other person as well as you think you do in the 6 weeks. And so much can come up and happen that if you do not protect yourself, it's literally so scary to think about because one of the couple that we know went through some shit.
Yeah. I think that there's no way you could fully know a person after 6 weeks. Even if you take the chance to say I do and feel really strongly about them. Look at my example where I didn't get a clear picture of Shane's financials until after the show was done filming.
Yeah, that's true.
And, he told me things like he owned his own real estate firm. He said it on the show. And then I found out he didn't. And I was like, if we got married and I divorced.
And you would be paying him alimony.
Yes.
That's crazy. Just going back to that guy paying $75,000 a month in alimony, that's got to hurt a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be like, oh, ouch.
It's so crazy when I hear about cases how someone has to pay their ex-partner alimony, even though there's no kids involved. And let's say the marriage was only 2 or 3 years. that partner didn't have to, or ex-partner didn't have to like quit their job and they continued working and still alimony has to be paid. I'm like, what?
Yeah. That's insane.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I totally get it in cases of, let's say, like, a spouse quit their job because they had to take care of the kids, or they had to maybe like pause their career in some way, or take like maybe not ideal opportunities, in order to like have maybe their ex-partner in this case, like pursue their dreams. I don't know. You see like instances like that.
Yeah.
But I was like, hey, where it's just like a clean cut, you guys are going your own way, I don't think that there should be alimony involved.
No, I agree. It's a very sticky situation because every family is so unique too. And it's like, but being the person, if I like got divorced and I was making alimony, I'd be like, oh great, this is great, like I don't even have to work. But on the other side, I bet you it stings so hard because you're like the breadwinner of the family, and even after a divorce you're continuing to support them and their lifestyle. So that's a little murky. But
I remember one time Shane said to me, if we had gotten married and if we divorced, he would have taken half my assets. And he said it as a lighthearted joke because he's like, that's how pissed I was at you when you said I don't at the altar.
Oh my gosh.
So this was after filming.
Yeah.
Obviously after our wedding day where I say I don't. But it was when we were dating after filming.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that as a joke.
You're probably like, fuck, you probably would have
and
actually.
I was like, didn't think much of it, but I remember like texting my friend about it. But now looking back, and I was like, oh my gosh, if I married him, didn't sign a prenup, like, and we absolutely 100% would have gotten a divorce. There's no doubt about it.
Y'all were toxic.
Yeah, it was, there was no way. No way forward. I always think about that. Like, would he have taken half my assets?
Probably. I mean, if I was Shane, I would have too. I'd be like, this bitch makes a lot of money. Let me take half that. I'm just kidding. No, that would have been bad. You know what? The universe worked out exactly how it was supposed to.
I know.
There's a reason you did not get married. Thank the Lord.
But I the only reason I bring that up is like, I mean, how come like couples on Love is Blind, how come not more couples are getting prenups?
I wonder if a lot more did and we just don't know about it. I wonder if they like backdated it, like if they got it after the fact. But you know what's interesting is this reminds me of the story of when Shake said something to me right before our wedding, Netflix wedding day.
Let's make that clear.
Let's make that Netflix wedding
our
day.
show wedding.
And he literally told our producers, I think I told you this, he told our producers, he was like, if you let me and Deepti live in this 2-bedroom beautiful penthouse, like
the one that they provided us,
yes, the apartment, which had beautiful views of Napier, he was like, I'll marry her if you let us stay here for 2 years. And I was like, this man, if I got married to him, he is definitely signing a prenup because, he's like contractually thinking already, like there's no chance he would have.
That is so crazy. What did your producer say to that?
She just laughed it off. Like, obviously, she's like, obviously not. Like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But
no, it's literally the fact he would say, I do for that penthouse
That's
apartment.
what I was like, wait, so like, do I not matter as a person?
Yeah.
Like, do I have a say here? Like,
does this count as dowry?
Yeah, no, I was just about to talk about that. Isn't that crazy how like back in the day, and I hope my mom doesn't get mad at me for telling the story, but back in the day, somebody asked my grandpa for dowry for my mom, and my grandpa literally got up, didn't say a word, got up and left and was like, my daughter is not for sale.
This wasn't your dad.
No, this wasn't my dad. This was before my dad. Before my dad. It was
another man.
It was another man before my dad.
Deepti's mom is popular.
She is popular.
Meanwhile, I can't get anyone to give dowry or ask my dad for dowry for me.
I know. It's like, here's some land for my daughter, like no way. But I was like, I'm so proud of my grandpa for like getting up and being like, absolutely not, like this is not a sale. Like,
yeah,
dowry is such a crazy concept. It's illegal now in India, but I was like, that's wild that happened back in the day. You know what I mean? Like, a dowry, like it's just a crazy concept for me to think about. Like, hey, like, thank you for taking care of my daughter for the rest of her life, as if she's not a person.
Yeah.
And being like, this is what I can offer you to do that for her. It's like, that's such a fucked up way of thinking.
No, 100%.
Yeah, I hate that.
What did your mom think when that man asked for dowry?
I think my mom like always kind of didn't have a say in things, especially at that time.
Yeah.
You know, like it was more like my parent, like she always had to follow what my grandparents had said to her, which is so crazy to think about. And that's why I like love taking her on this 60th birthday trip. Like not me, like our whole family contributed to it, but it's just crazy to think that like she has never even lived by herself before. I talked to her about that and I was like, Mom, did you ever like, were you ever alone? Like, did you have an opportunity to have any independence? And she's like, literally none. She went straight from my grandparents' house straight to my dad's. And so I was like, wow, she is
like my mom.
Yeah, like they haven't like lived life like us, like owning their own apartment and like just doing whatever you want to do for the day, not having to take care of anybody. Like, it's just such a crazy thing to think about. I was like, oh man, like she was never lived as like I don't know, like just as a young adult. She's never got to live her life, you know?
Yeah. And it's so crazy because I feel like you and your sister are very like independent. You guys are the epitome in terms of how you carry yourselves when it comes to your careers, just like the way you guys like act, like very strong independent women. And I feel like your mom is kind of like that too now at this age where she like really like makes sure that you and Divya are like very much your own people. You don't rely on anyone. So my mom was a young mom. I think she became a mom at like 24, 25.
Yes.
And I remember when I was 24, 25, like I was really career oriented, but like going out, having fun.
Yes.
Like all this stuff. And so it's crazy that their experiences and like how they were like when they were young, they try to like teach us and kind of push us a different way.
Yeah, exactly. And that wouldn't have happened if we didn't move to America, I feel like, because even in India, that's still very much a thing. Like if I had stayed back in India and grew up there, I would still be living at my parents' house. Like that, it's not normal, like even for my cousins to like go out and get their own places in India. So it's very much like an Americanized thing, but I'm so grateful for it. And I think like my parents have grown so much as human beings, like being here as well. But it's so interesting that both of our parents had kids at such young ages. I was like, I can barely take care of myself. I'm just kidding, I can. But like, it's just so funny to think.
I know.
Before the age of 30, my mom had all 3 kids, and I'm like, she moved across the
and
the
meanwhile,
world.
I'm like, here am I about to do a dumbass reality TV show. So
it's so funny.
crazy.
I'm like, I can't even get up the courage to ask a cute boy at the ferry out. I'm just kidding. No, but yeah, it's just what a unique experience they've lived and how different it is. But it's cool to see them so different now, right? Like,
yeah,
our parents are so different than they used to be in their 30s. So, but I don't know, man.
But bringing it back to prenup.
So back to prenups.
Now that I think about it too, I don't think my parents signed a prenup.
No, my parents absolutely did. My parents will never get divorced.
Well, same. I don't think my parents should. I think that they're pretty happy with one another, but and I think your parents do.
Yeah.
But
it's not an option.
I think it's one of those things where I'm like, I feel like it's becoming so common today and it's like so necessary. I really think that what I heard is that, you know, there is always a prenup. It's either the one the government set forth for you or you customize your own. And after that, I'm like, I'll always customize my own.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I?
Yeah. No, why wouldn't you? Exactly. And I never thought that I would even be in that mindset, but society is changing so much. Relationships are changing so much. When you think back to our parents' generation, they obviously were like a little bit more protected in their relationship because I don't know, I think it just means more to be in a marriage then than it does now. And I hate to say that, but I think it's true because there's so many temptations now. They didn't have internet back then. Like you're going to someone's house and courting them. Like no one has the time or energy to be cheating back in that time, or it's like a little bit harder, I think. Whereas now it's a little bit easier to do that. Like at your fingertips, you have a device that you can connect to with anyone. And I think the world is just kind of becoming a little bit more scary in terms of like how faithful people are in relationships, and not even just that, like even financial situations, right? Like there's just so many factors to leading to a divorce now. And
yeah, on the flip side though, I think that in our parents' generations, people stayed in marriages because it's what was culturally acceptable. Divorce was looked down upon. It was taboo, especially if you're from a religious community as well.
Yes.
But I love that it is starting to be more accepted, and like men and women are finding it as an option, because I'm sure there have been people in very unhealthy relationships and toxic relationships.
Yes.
And now they don't have to stay in that marriage because again, people change. So I get your temptation thing, but I also think that maybe like the world is turning to a place less so that it's scary when it comes to divorce, but now it's an option instead of staying with someone or in a toxic situation or an unhealthy situation or with a partner who is just not good anymore for you or has just never been good for you.
Yeah, because you're totally
and like
right.
you now have that option to leave.
No, you're totally right. Because people change.
Yeah.
And as you should, like you're evolving and growing as individuals. And sometimes you just grow in different directions.
And think about you and I, where we've been in very toxic relationships with toxic people that we have always had excuses or justification for, of like why they are the way they are. And we've been just stuck in that cycle of being in a relationship where things are good and they get really bad. And that's just like a not normal relationship. But it was so hard for us to walk away.
Yeah.
But I do think about if I said I do on Love is Blind and I was in that marriage, the fact that divorce is an option and I am okay to take it would have been amazing, right?
Yeah,
instead of being
totally.
like, I can't leave.
Yeah, I agree. I think
That was a toxic ass relationship.
I'm glad that we've normalized choosing ourselves and getting out of unhealthy, toxic relationships, because otherwise I feel like there's just so many couples in the older generation where it wasn't as accepted in society to get divorced that stayed together because they had to, and they were just so unhappy and had to compromise so much of themselves just to look okay in society, you know?
Yeah. This reminds me of a situation that happened with Ayana when she announced her divorce from Jarrett. So both of them were on season 2 with Deepti and I, and she's obviously our close friend as well. But when she announced her divorce, she would get comments on her Instagram, and these comments were like, you know, like divorce is sin. You need to pray. You need to work it out with Jarrett.
Oh my gosh.
Like marriage is sacred. Like blah, 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 all this stuff. She understood where some of it was coming from because obviously they got married off of a show. So I think people were like, oh, you didn't take marriage seriously. And Ayana talked about this on our podcast and on her own podcast as well, where, you know, she talks about these comments she received. But she also says, like, I worked really hard in that marriage. Like, it wasn't some like show thing or just like this very light decision I made to say I do at the altar on Love is Blind. And she goes, I like really thought I loved him at that moment. But she's like, he cheated on me.
Yeah.
He fucking cheated on me.
Yeah.
And you're telling me that I need to pray and stay in the marriage and divorce is not an option. And I was like, yeah, screw that.
Yeah.
If you can't trust him anymore and he has shown that he will continue cheating on you, screw that.
Exactly.
Leave.
Not that she has to justify it to anybody, but like she gave that man so many chances. It's not like she just gave up. And also it's her prerogative to do whatever the hell she wants to do.
And she goes, she wasn't happy.
Yeah.
So I thought it was so crazy that like people are still in the mindset that like divorce is not an option. And she goes, like, I would have really lost myself in that marriage. Like, why would I have a child with a man who can't stay faithful to me?
Yeah. That's exactly, that's the hard part, because a lot of people are still of that mindset. And I think that will be there all the time. But yeah, you definitely have to just do what's right for you. And sometimes divorce is the right option. But again, now that I'm like thinking about it and talking about it all the time, it's like prenups are the way to protect yourself, just in case that happens, because you just never know. Life is so uncertain. And I mean, we know that for sure. Like, you just never know what happens. Like, things change all the time, and as they should. Yeah. That's the only
people
constant.
Change.
Yeah.
Situations change.
But get that prenup.
But what won't change is I will always have my assets.
Exactly.
My money will always be my money.
I want my money and I want it now.
No.
But
Anyways.
yeah. Anyways, let us know what you guys thought about prenups. If you'd get one, are they absurd? Like,
Do you have one?
Yeah. Let us know. Reach out to our Instagram page at Out of the Pods.
And make sure you leave a review and subscribe and continue listening on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. See you next Wednesday.
Bye.